Have you ever been in a situation where you experienced inner conflict? And I think you'll agree it's not a nice place to be. So picture the scene. It's December 2012, just a few days before Christmas. 21st to be precise, the shortest day of the year. And I'm alone in my office at home. Shall I move that on? The lilac blinds shutting out the cold, dark evening. And I'm contemplating the fact that for the first time since my father died in October 2008, I'm going to be spending Christmas on my own. Can we have an R? And as you can imagine, I was feeling quite sad and sorry for myself. But at the same time, I was wondering what the new year would bring forth. Now, I was already coaching professionals, helping them overcome the mental barriers in their head that were holding them back. But somehow I knew that something was missing, but I just didn't know what it was. So I was on the computer, well, not literally on it, looking for inspiration. And you could have laughed there, actually. And I found it. By some quirk of fate, I stumbled across a marketing program specifically for coaches. Rob Quester, I know that name. Guy in his early 40s, dark wavy hair, a little reminiscent of the Laughing Cavalier. And his words literally jumped out of the computer at me. You've got to have a niche and build a tribe. A niche, my kingdom for a niche. And then all hell let loose in my head. Thoughts careering round. Can I do this? Can't I? I don't know. I don't know what my niche is. I'm really scared. It's expensive. Have you ever had this kind of thing going on? On and on that battle raged. And I don't mind telling you that it went on right into the new year. And then finally, in March 2013, I sign on the dotted line of this program with much trepidation. And in the first workshop, the facilitator, she's called Fiona, says, write down a list of all the subjects that you're interested in to the whole group, whether it's a little bit of an interest or a massive interest. So there I am, scribbling on my piece of paper, have no idea now what they were, except for one subject. And you can guess what that is. So then Fiona comes over and she's looking at my list. And she says, Vanessa, that subject, charging what you're worth, that is marketable. Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, you're the expert, you're the marketing expert. I'm going to take a leap of faith and I'm going to go and find out about this subject. So remember the days when we had normal networking events, regularly, face-to-face, in-person events? Who do you see a lot of at those events? Lawyers and accountants. So off I trot to this networking event, thinking to myself, right, I'm going to do some research and find out what's going on. So I go to this event, and I go walking up to somebody, and I say, hi, my name is Vanessa Ugatti, I'm the True Worth expert, and I want to do a little bit of research to help me with my business, and I want to find out what challenges people have with their charging. Would you mind answering a few questions? I won't be taking any notes or sharing it with anybody else, it's just for me. No, that's no problem. Just what would you like to know? So what's your name? And what do you do? My name's Phil, and I'm a lawyer. Oh, fantastic, Phil. I love talking to lawyers, just the sort of person I want to find out from. So what's your discipline? What area of practice are you in? And how many years PQE are you? I'm a family lawyer, and I've got, let me just think about that, 11 years experience, something like that? Wow, it's a lot of experience, Phil. That's absolutely brilliant. So now I'm going to ask you the crunch question, Phil. What are your challenges around charging? Yes, my challenges. I'm a family lawyer, as I said. So when I'm dealing with clients, often I'm dealing with quite emotional situations. And so that is very, very difficult. And what I do is I find myself undercharging or discounting or over-servicing the client, doing all those kinds of things. Phil, that's so honest of you. I really appreciate that. Look, I'd love to talk to you longer. Maybe I can come back and talk to you later on. But in the meantime, I'd need to talk to somebody else just to find out some more information. So, hi, I'm Vanessa Ugatti, the True Worth expert, and I'm doing some research to find out challenges that people have on charging. Would you mind answering a few questions for me? No, not at all. They're really nice people, these people at this networking event that I went to. So, oh, tell me your name, please, and what do you do? So my name is Laura, and I'm a lawyer. Laura the lawyer. I don't know how I came up with that one, really. And okay, that's fantastic. I liked speaking to lawyers, perfect. And tell me what your area of practice is, and also how many years PQE you have. And she said, I'm in private client. I said, okay, private client. Yeah, I know all about private client lawyers. And she said, let me think. I think I've got 15 years experience. So that means, Laura, I guess you don't really have any challenges now with charging. Oh, Vanessa, you must be joking. Yes, I certainly do, because private client, you're dealing with individuals. And my challenges really around estimating correctly, it's so difficult. And also, if I'm doing a fixed fee, then having to go back if the scope of the fixed fee changes and have a discussion with the client about fees again. Yeah, I've heard this before, Laura. It's quite a commonplace problem, so I really appreciate that. That's fantastic. So there you are. That was a big tick for me. That was the first evidence that really good, experienced, professional people are challenged with this subject of charging correctly and will find themselves undercharging, discounting, over-servicing, and sometimes working with what I irreverently call PITA clients, which are pain in the, and you can work out, and you all know what I'm talking about because you've all had that experience. So then I thought, let's have a look at clients I've been working with and see what I've been doing. And I discover that I'm already helping some people with charging because I was working with people on their mindset and confidence. So guess what? This subject was almost bound to come up. Another tick. Then, of course, I couldn't avoid turning the spotlight on myself. So this was the bit that was really painful, because this was the eureka moment. And I thought, oh, I know now why my subconscious mind said to me, you need to be looking at this subject, because I was, at the time, clueless, absolutely hopeless in terms of charging. Why? Because embarrassment, talking about money, and heart-led person just wanting to help people. And actually, you know, I'll just describe how I used to be in a sales meeting. So a prospect would come to me, they'd be telling me all their challenges, and I'd be trying to solve their problem there and then, and be throwing all this stuff at them, wanting to give them all the answers. It was overwhelming for them. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my God, at some point, I need to be talking about money. Ugh. And I don't know if you've ever been networking, you know, where you're around a table and you have to do your 1-minute pitch. I call that creeping death. Because even as somebody who enjoys speaking, when I knew it was going to be my turn, I could feel my stomach churning over and over and over and thinking, oh God, no, I can't bear this. And this was the same for me in the sales meeting. I'd be putting off having that discussion. And so my meetings were getting longer and longer. I wasn't getting anywhere. I was giving all my answers away in that sales meeting because I was clueless. And then finally, I would stutter out. I charged £95 an hour, and I'd carry on talking because I was so scared of rejection. That's how awful I was. So that was my big eureka moment. So then, you know when you're in bed and you're half awake and half asleep, you know, and it actually feels quite nice? Do you know that? You can nod or just say yes, so I know that you know what I'm talking about. So I'm in bed one night and I'm in that drowsy state, and that's when your conscious mind has gone to sleep, but your subconscious mind is very much still awake. And this formula appears in my mind. This formula. And I see the formula, and I know what it means, and I have no idea how I know, and I also know it's correct. And I'm going to just very quickly tell you what that stands for. It stands for understand your value, plus communicate your value, plus confident delivering fees equals charging what you're worth. So then the work began, because believe me, I had a lot of work to do on myself, and of course I had help. And then that enabled me to be helping other people. And I thought, understanding how awful I was at it, knowing that I needed to learn how to overcome the problems that people have with this, because I was really challenged with it, would then make me the best person to help other people do that. So let's fast forward to a couple of years ago, whatever that was, 2019. I realized in that time that I'd been working with people and working on myself, that while the formula was good, there was a much broader and deeper part to the work I was doing. So I created the True Worth methodology.